Hey guys, it's Max Powers. Probably can't hear me from all the river noise, but I am somewhere in the middle of um, White Mountain National Forest. Standing in a river, you can't tell how straight down this is. Maybe if I come over here and you start to see the way the water's cascading, but this is level. That is not. Anyway, I've been doing a lot of hiking over the last week, a lot of the time without my camera. Today I remembered to bring one, so hopefully you can see this and appreciate it for what it is. I'm going to turn around and show you the rest of this flume area. I have not seen another hiker all day, and I'm just absolutely loving it. But I'm going to turn around, and it's just this cascading waterfall. I guess, on the western side of Crawford Notch. And this is, I think I'm just going to hop in the water if I can find a little pool where I won't go down the whole mountainside and hang out for a bit, cool off. And then I've got maybe about a mile and a half back to the truck. So I'm going to go find that pool. Oh boy, guys, it just keeps going. I'm on the edge of the river, so I'm not in yet. I haven't found a little pool, but I think there's one over this ridge. But it's just gorgeous. And these views don't come with a tour guide, okay? So, if you want to see things like this, get out in the woods. It's a lot to be found. It's endless. I haven't found a pool yet. Oops. So I am going to go back down and probably back to the car. Talk to you guys in a bit. Just one last check-in. This place is just gorgeous. All this water, and the biggest pool I can find is ankle deep. And someone dammed it up to get that. Not me. It was there when I got here. But one last look at this unbelievable view. I'm just going to splash some water on me, on my face. With MS, it's about body temp. And when my body temp heats up, my symptoms come up. So I'm going to like cool myself down, see if I can't get my body temp way down in this little pool. And then my feet are starting to get clumsy, and I know, other than that, this is the trail out. But I know the second I get back on that trail, it's going to start going down just over that ridge right there. And once it starts going down, it gets real steep real fast. So I'm going to go barefoot with my walking stick because that's what gives me the best tread. I don't always feel the ground under me if I have boots on. Hopefully there's no slate sticking out because I had to give myself stitches on a trail once with that. And it's not fun. You know, stitch a couple, pass out, stitch a couple more, pass out. But we won't let it come to that today. Can you see that gorgeous like chasm across the way? I wonder what that's like in the spring. I bet it's gorgeous. And I don't know if people from the road going through Crawford Notch can see that. I hope they can, because oh, it must be spectacular. All right, guys, I'll check in a minute. I'm not going to introduce myself. I've done it 40 times in this video. Keep an eye behind me and keep an ear out. It would be my like 7 or 8 o'clock right now, and that will change when I hit the hairpin that goes back in the other direction, because this mountain's so steep. It's all hairpins with like 20 feet of rock climbing, and then a nice flat, almost path with a slight incline, and then another hairpin. So the river was perfect. It did the trick. I've taken my hiking boots off and I'm barefoot, and I have much better control over my feet like that. And I know it's part of my multiple sclerosis. When you put padded sneakers on me or padded hiking boots, I can't feel what's really the ground under me, so I tend to trip more. But as I was doing this, I remembered that on this trail, I have to cross railroad tracks, which are gravel. I do have shoes with me, so I can pop those on, but it's not a long enough distance to bother. So, can I just tell you how much easier this walk is barefoot for me? Don't try this at home, kids. Oh, there it was. So you know the shadow footsteps where you stop and you can hear the some roots here, a little treacherous. You hear that last step, I'm gonna see if I can't get you further away. No reason for you to count my nose hairs, Hold on. I'm coming, I swear. We can edit this out. You'll never even know. Okay, yeah, this is good. There's a steep cliff to my right. I'm barefoot, and my second hand is holding a camera on a stick. Okay. So what was I saying? Oh, the shadow footstep. So you stop quick and you hear that last. I've noticed, and I'm wondering if you guys have it all, that the shadow footstep oftentimes is followed up by like little like they throw rocks or something to scatter it, so you think maybe it was branches falling or something. I don't know. So I want to tell you a little bit about where I am. For you finding Bigfoot fans, and fan, I know that could be with my viewers kind of an odd word to use, because it was a love-hate relationship we had. We loved that there was a Bigfoot show out there, and we hated how kitschy it was, and how these people, every day they were out, seemed to be able to find a Bigfoot in the woods. I'm here to say that just doesn't happen. But it is getting oddly closer in New England, and hiker Dave made a comment on one of the last videos. He's probably had put a few more out, but I've been up here. But hiker Dave made a comment on one of his videos about how is it that when I see these things and I get out of the car, and I think they're just passing, or off his motorcycle in his case, how is it that I'll hear the whistle? Like, they're not there all the time. They're not there every time. And he's right. But sure enough, if you go out, and I don't know what it is, if you go out and spend some time, you find that they're there a lot of the time. Just a curious thing. But I'm going to go back and start talking about why I brought up finding Bigfoot. And incident, when you talk about Bigfoot in the woods, do you suddenly find him? Is that just a psychological thing? I don't know. But finding Bigfoot was in New Hampshire, and they filmed the bulk of it right around here. Right up the street from where I am is I don't know actually, because I'm in the woods, but you can hear the highway noise starting now that I'm on this side. And think that's 302. So going through like Crawford Notch on up to the Bethlehem, no, Bretton Woods in the Mount Washington Hotel. So that's where Finding Bigfoot stayed. Big cushy hotel. Okay. I'm camping in a free campsite, wild camping in the woods, but hey, that's all right. I don't have a TV show yet, but you know, inbox me. So why did I bring up Finding Bigfoot, and why did it take me 20 minutes to get there? I don't know. ADD is a wonderful thing. The railroad tracks. Yeah, stay with me. It all comes it all comes full circle. Oh, look at that. If I stick this thing in my belt loop, then it doesn't move as much. Awesome. This is such a nice walk down compared to the climb that I had up. Okay, back to Finding Bigfoot again. In the Finding Bigfoot episode where they're up here, they're on that spot on the railroad tracks. I'm going to show you why. Something that Finding Bigfoot didn't do. This never made it onto the episode, which makes me think that the eyewitness reports may be just... hold on one second. Okay. Can you see those rocks behind me? I just came down that barefoot. All right. Which makes me think that some of these eyewitness accounts may be like mushed together, separate eyewitness accounts that form one story. Because by these railroad tracks is a very interesting area with a very interesting smell. I've hiked by it this year. Oh geez, this is I'll show you in just a second. I've hiked by it a lot in this past year just because I really like these trails. If you look around, I think it's a very squatchy environment. I think these squatches are used to a crazy man walking through the woods with a camera. It's not pointed at them, so I'm sure they kind of like that. But this place wasn't shown, and I'm going to show it to you now. Well, not now, but in just a little bit. When I get down to that, right now I got flashing battery light, so I'm going to let you go, and I will check back in. Whew, I'm huffing and puffing. I'll check back in when we hit the railroad tracks. I don't know why that makes me so excited. They could kill me. I'll talk to you in a minute. Anyone remember my fence post video? Here's one. Here's two. The big one's 8 feet. Small one is at about 6 feet. Makes sense to me. Alright guys. Keep an ear out for the songbird. Rock hounding with Bigfoot. Oh, there it is. The highway's gonna block it though. Shh. And big footsteps. Are they trying to cover their footsteps with the noise? Hear that? You can't because of the highway. Oh well. Oh, I'm going to point up towards him. Ooh, all kinds of stump squatches, huh? And one that may be legitimate. Dead ahead. Alright guys, I'm going to get south of these tracks real quick. Alright guys, when I said south of, I didn't mean south. Down there you can see, right where the rocks, the tracks turn. It's under that I'm about to show you. So, I'm gonna get there on the trail and try and get back to my car. I am on the west side of the mountains right now, or the east side of the mountains rather. Sun sets in the west, so it gets darker here quicker than back at camp. So I'm racing daylight. I'll talk to you guys in a bit. So this is it. You can see up there the light. That's where the railroad tracks are. Interesting paths that come down to it. If you look, this is all fluffed up, like something's been in there recently. Now it could be coyote, it could be bear, it could be anything. But whatever it is, stinks to high heavens, and my dander's up. It's spooky as hell right here. Hair on the back of my neck. Can you see the goosebumps on my arms? So it's starting to get dark. I'm gonna head down. But yeah, this is what those guys on Finding Bigfoot were probably looking for, because this is where, when I started talking about it to people in the area, this is where they sent me. So I guess that's that. See you at the bottom, kids. Hey guys, I'm down. You can hear the highway, so I'm gonna try and project. Every bit of the way there was something right at my 4 or my 7, whatever it is. And just as I get out of the woods now, which I just did, I heard a big whoosh, like stomping of the feet saying, yep, all right, don't come back. I've got to go check on the ranger station, make sure they're still there, because I did just see a family, a mother and 2 kids going up. It's 5 o'clock at night, and maybe it's 4, I don't know. And they were heading into the woods, and I don't think they were going in the right direction, but we had a language barrier. So I'm gonna go just put word out that they're up there, what direction they were headed in, where I saw them, etc., etc. So I gotta go. Oh, hey guys, I don't know if there's even enough light to film this. I made it back to the truck, and I made it back to my campsite. I don't know how to explain it, but after those odd encounters, like the ones I had today in the woods, oftentimes you'll end up, let's a little fireside chat here. Where is that? I gotta get used to moving with there we go. Nice fireside chat. But usually when I have encounters like that, I get weird stuff at night. So we will see what happens. Today I have new neighbors. Not the campsite up the way, which has been empty. The closest one to me, there's a family there. They're playing and having fun. So that ought to be fun for Bigfoot. But I'm back. I made it back. Temperature has dropped to about 55 right now. I think it's a little cooler than that. Because I'm higher up the mountain probably than anywhere that my phone is reporting from. The odd thing is when I'm in towns around here, I don't have service, but when I'm at this campsite, I do. So that's interesting. Today, this afternoon, when I was on that descent, I bumped into a family, mom and 2 kids. No packs with them, no water with them, and they were on a trail asking me for, their English was broken. I don't know where they were from. They were evidently well-off people. Oh, there we go. There's a nice picture of the fire. They were fairly well off, and I don't think they knew what they were getting into, and I tried to explain that, but once again, we had a language barrier, and they didn't seem that concerned. When I got to the bottom, I realized that my watch, when I took it off to go in the river, I had pulled out the bezel. Is it the bezel? What is that thing? The windy thing that doesn't wind watches anymore. And it had stopped. So it was much earlier, or I thought it was much earlier than it really was. When I got to the bottom, I realized it was like 5:30.
And those guys were way up the mountain when I saw them. So I went to go to the little ranger station there, and it's not manned. There's just an open door with no phone. There's nothing inside, just a desk and some maps and things like that. And there's a payphone because there's no service. So I went to the payphone. Payphone was dead. And I didn't know what to do. There's this family in the woods. So on my way back, I stopped at the local PD right up the street from this site and told him what I had encountered. And he said that they would let the people who need to know. And he was, I don't think he was just giving me lip service. Do you know what I mean? I think this guy's going to follow up and make sure that there's not a family stuck in the woods tonight. So that'll be good. Yeah, but I made it back. I'm here in this site. It's going to be an early one for me. It was a long day. I left early. I went on all kinds of mini explorations and one good-sized hike. And the mini explorations today there was a lot of them, and although they weren't that long, it certainly added up. And the terrain around here is up and down. And when I say up and down, 45 degrees is nothing. And I don't know if you can tell from the videos like of today's hike just how steep those hills were, but a lot of that was probably like 50 to 60 degrees. So it was those switchbacks that I mentioned earlier. But I made it back. I've got a nice fire lit. Had my dinner. I broke down. I've got some Harpoon IPAs, well chilled. They're not on my diet, but some days you just gotta have a nice cold beer. And no place around here carries the gluten-free omission. It's kind of like an IPA. It's kind of like beer. So anyway, made it back. It's getting cold. This is my kind of weather. We're getting into it. It's probably going to be down around 40 tonight in the overnight. I'm going to sleep like a baby. So I'm looking forward to it. That's my Bigfoot adventure. Did I mention in the woods over there, and the picture won't come out now if I do it with the video camera, but I did get a shot of it, and there is, or was, I'll do a whole thing on it in a later video, but yeah, something sitting in the woods looking at me, just watching, kind of casual, like glancing over the shoulder at me. We'll see how that goes. I'll look further into it, and I'll report everything I find right to you guys. Have a good one. I'm probably going to be in bed the second this beer is done. I got a fire going. I'd hate to have to put this out because it's really a nice fire. So maybe I'll just sit in my chair, drink my beer, maybe have another one. But I'll be in bed by the time the moon is overhead. Have a good one. Stay out of trouble, will you?